during consent item. So reporting out of closed session. In closed session, the governing board took action to extend the superintendent's contract by a 5-0 vote. Ratification of the extension of the superintendent's employment agreement is also presented in open session, as we are doing now under consent calendar for final approval. So I know it's coming up to consent, Dr. Sheehan, and it's not completely ratified until that happens, but let me at least take this opportunity to say congratulations, and I'm thrilled, as every single one of us is, that you are continuing with us and that we have your guidance and your openness and honesty and willingness to work with us and move forward with us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and I'm very humbled as always.
Okay. We are now at discussion item number 2, the under 3, which is the Glendale Unified, La Cañada Unified potential territory transfer. Dr. Sheehan?
Okay, as we are aware, or most everyone is aware, we have been in negotiations with La Cañada Unified School District over the, see if I get it right, northwest corner of La Cañada, and we will be having a town hall meeting coming up to discuss this, and this is where we truly want to get the input from the community that's affected, and so we will be putting out information to that area and the people that are affected, inviting them to a meeting at Crescenta Valley High School. So I am going to turn it over to Ms. Eva Luke for more information.
Thank you, Dr. Sheehan. And for the parents of our students, for them to determine whether they're in the area, it would basically be if you're attending our school district but you have a La Cañada address, you are in that section that we're going to be looking at in the territory transfer. And we have a little bit more of a descriptor on the area. The schools in Glendale Unified that would be affected by the proposed transfer are Mountain Avenue Elementary School, Rosemont Middle School, and Crescenta Valley High School. And currently we have approximately 400 students from that area attending our schools, and that will change as time goes forward. The impacts and interests. We're really going to be looking at 4 areas, and we have been looking at them in our discussions with La Cañada, and it's really a student phase-in process. This isn't a change that would happen overnight if it were to go forward. We were looking at a 6-year permissive plan, basically allowing students to have that opportunity to go to the district that they would like to attend. For school facilities, we're looking at capacity and enrollment issues as we move forward, and we're evaluating those. Also, for Glendale, we have our general obligation bonds that were issued under Measure K and Measure S, and so we're looking at how we might mitigate those impacts should a transfer occur. And then just in general, the revenue and expenditures that are affected by this proposed territory transfer. And so we're going to have an additional meeting, I think it's within the next couple of days, with the County Commission to talk about the process and to give better understanding of how this would occur if it were to go forward. And we want to have, or we actually are going to have on March 25th at 7 o'clock at Crescenta Valley High School, a community meeting. And there will be information sent out to the residents that live in that area, as well as the property owners of that area, as well as to the parents of the students that we have. And we'll be working with La Cañada Unified to really do a joint communique out so that we can give an overview and really answer questions for the residents and that live in the area. Okay.
I have had one question that has occurred to me since we began discussing this item. I wonder if staff would be so kind as to provide me the information. Does the County of Los Angeles receive the permission for lack of a better word, to reevaluate the land, the property owner's property in this area if they transfer to this other school district. If we make this change in the circumstance of their home ownership, does the County of Los Angeles in turn have the opportunity to reassess the homeowners?
I will add that to my list of questions. That wasn't on it, but that
I'm
we
curious.
need to know that.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. Thank you.
Add that. Thank you.
Ms. Walters?
I just want to note that for me personally, the March 25th meeting is an important meeting as far as getting input. I mean, we've really, this is an issue that has come up over and over and over throughout the decades. It has kind of an ugly history. It's gone through a lot of court battles. I would call this, it could be what's known as a hostile takeover. I think we've worked very hard because we work collaboratively with La Cañada in so many other ways. We don't want it to be like that, but obviously it's a very important issue to them. So we are at least exploring this idea, with an open mind. But for me, it's going to be very important to hear from the residents and the parents of that area to know how they feel about this and whether or not they want us to try to work something out or not. I think that we've generally agreed as a board that at a minimum we would not accept anything that wouldn't allow those students to still choose to come to Glendale schools regardless of what territory it was in. So I just want to definitely encourage people to come to the March 25th meeting if you're impacted, because we very much are wanting to have your input on this conversation.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Krikorian?
I mean, stepping back on this issue is a very important issue. I look back years ago, actually one of my first colleagues I worked with, actually my mentor when I first got on the Board of Education, and I'm not going to say how long ago, but it was, because I am aging myself, was Gene Bentley. And Gene Bentley was a class act, one of the most awesome Board of Education members I worked with. Because I worked with Gene Bentley, Chuck Sandbar, Lina Harper, Pam Ellis, myself, and Gene with Jim Brown when I was there. Gene took me under their wings and worked with me the first year and a half until God, rest her soul, she passed away. And Miss Boger we were blessed to have Miss Boger take her spot and fulfilled quite eloquently and actually astonishingly a great replacement for Gene Bentley. But I worked with Gene Bentley and David Noss and Ginny Delbeck, and I'm naming names who helped create the 5-Star Education Coalition. This 5-Star Education Coalition is a group of the 5 school districts, Glendale, Burbank, La Cañada, South Pasadena, and Pasadena. We as board members will get together with our superintendents and find shared resources. And out of that, actually, we came up with piggyback purchasing. We purchased supplies together to reduce our costs. We shared our technology. We shared our staffs in a lot of ways. We shared our political might, the 5 cities, and in that, obviously, there's a long history with that territory area. And far too many times, elected officials and people dig in the ground and dig in very, not like the Hatfield McCoys, but dig in deep, and it could create lawsuit after lawsuit, and both sides lose. So I thought it was important. I know people were wondering what was going on the past 7 months. Is we've been having good dialogue with elected leaders, and I have to commend Scott Tracy, Motari, and also Curtis, the work that we've done, and the communications. There's been some good communication where at least we're having positive dialogue. But what my colleagues both said, I really echo that statement, what Christine Walter said and Ms. Boger said. I think it's imperative. We want to hear you and hear your voices. There's an opportunity on March 25th at CV High School. Come out to the event. Share your joys about this, because it's going to be a phase-in opportunity, which I'm excited about. So it's not going to impact a lot of the families. A lot of families are in there. When they bump in, we were talking about the transition from middle school to high school, they'll be able to stay in their same system, so it's not going to be a drastic effect. Long-term down the road, it'll gradually matriculate, and it'll matriculate to a point to where we're not seeing really a major change. I also see a lot of opportunity with Mountain Ave. There's a lot of potential we could do with Mountain Ave. We're talking about maybe making a fun magnet elementary school, which we have some really fun with it. So there's a lot. The sky's the limit. I just think the cooperation is imperative, and I look back to, I hate to equate Little League, because Ms. Boger, you were in Little League. We know what Little League was like, and I was part of Jewel City Little League, and our boundaries went all the way to Brand Boulevard. And sometimes when some families lived on one side and the other side, we saw them playing in Foothill Little League or CV Little League. We say, hey, wait, you live over here. And it became, at the end of the day, we all live in the United States of America. We all live in Southern California. We all live in L.A. County. La Cañada and Glendale Unified School District are two awesome school districts. We both have so much to offer to each other. But the key thing here is there's an opportunity for the CV community and the La Cañada community that lives there to embark in this conversation. I know we had several board members, Mary, that lived in that area, right?
All of whom were very happy to live in Sagebrush and have their children go to
Yeah.
Glendale schools. Mrs. Bentley, Mr. Sambar.
I know, and Sambar and Chuck, and obviously he still gives us. I still get my communication from Chuck Keeb, which I appreciate, and he thinks it's a very positive move. And I just really, but I want to be open-minded. I want to hear the community from the parents that day, but I think Dr. Sheehan, we've come a long way, and Wendy and yourself, the two superintendents, been having good dialogue. I look forward to March 25th, so come out. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Garfetian?
Just a quick question. How else are we informing the residents of Sagebrush meeting besides we talked here in La Cañada? I know that. Is there any...
We're working collaboratively with La Cañada Unified. We are going to take out advertisements in all the local newspapers, okay? And then we will be putting out literature as well, and we may even try, we've already been in communication with the PTA presidents for Mountain, Rosemont, CV, so they will also be assisting us.
The City Council of La Cañada mentioned they're going to send a communique to all their residents and actually live in the geographic area too.
Yes, and I'm sure that will be an absolutely neutral communique.
Yes. And no informing to go to the meeting, that's all.
Okay. Thank you. And so that's March 25th, 7 p.m., CD High School Auditorium. We have had only a handful of people come and speak here to us around this issue. So it would be very valuable for us, the board, to hear from parents and also non-parent residents of the area that we are talking about. We've had good communication and collaboration, and with La Cañada, we've also been very protective of our area and our students and what our students and our parents need, and our staff has been instrumental in helping us evaluate the options. So this is the next step in trying to figure out what the best option is, and we invite you to join us. Any other comments or questions? Great. So thank you very much.